establishment, let them have their 4,500 or 40-something hundred customers, all but the 100, and build, and then let the Republic keep them. We'll go just like we've had for 50 years, or however long we've had trash pickup. There's been the free market competitive process, and let those guys go. My experience has been, if you get too much government into private business, it can foul it up. Rather than help it, it can hurt it. And so why wouldn't we just say, we've made a mistake, we've all pointed out this thing could have been done much better, let's just back up, let's let them go through with the sale. John sells to Sharp, they have all the customers that we built, I got their bill, I'm gonna pay it just like I paid Friendly Waste Management ever since they started. Then at least we could stop the animosity, at least we could stop this, because I don't see how this ends with anything other than more animosity and more disagreement. They need to pick up trash, that's their business. If they've got, I think my math's not good enough, but 98% of the customers already in town, let them buy you out, let them go to work, and then let them build. And if Sharp and if Republic wants to do something, let them build. Let the free market system work as this country was founded on. And you get, because I don't think we're ever gonna make anybody happy. Whatever is decided about this contract, rebidding, not rebidding, several somebodies are gonna be unhappy. And you're then letting government pick who's the winner, pick who's the better person, who's the better trash company. My suggestion, my humble suggestion is let the free market decide who's the best trash people, and government stay out of it. But Sharp's done a good job picking up trash, as you said. My mother talked to Malden, is very happy with Republic. Fortunately, some of these other towns are very happy with Sharp. I haven't had anybody say anything negative about them as far as their service, but we're making a big deal out of it. So my humble suggestion, I've tried to keep my mouth shut as I'm really supposed to do these things, is just let the free market system work. This is kind of the example when government tries to get into private enterprise. These are the kinds of things that happen. We end up in a great big mess. We end up upset with each other. If they'll do it, if Sharp will buy, either out, whatever their contract was, then we all go back to home and start worrying about something else. Figure out we're going to get a hospital or whatever the other issue probably. So,
the absolute only issue that I'm working on, thank you, I hope they're listening so that I can sleep for the first time since.
I agree.
I just had one question, and Mark referred to it. Without the city contract, the Sharp still purchase Friendly.
Well, this
Is
is,
the city contract contingent upon, because Marco's denied multiple times that this purchase is dependent upon getting the contract. Is that the case?
I never denied it.
If it's not, okay, then you're saying it's not.
Well,
Over
it's
75
their concern is,
To be honest, that's personal.
Over 75
between
customers, I don't care about
Yeah,
the
so I mean-
cost and the business. I'm just saying, is getting this contract the make or break on Sharp purchasing Friendly?
No.
no,
Then
except
why are we
that,
all sitting here fighting over 75
well,
customers?
here, as I was about to say, as soon as Mark finished, they're gonna need, and I don't know how to say this where it doesn't sound like we're asking for some sort of guarantee, but if you thought the possibility that in April, when we have new council members and new mayor, that somebody wasn't gonna say, let's revisit municipal trash, would you pay what, well, you don't know what I'm getting, but would you buy me out thinking that 3 months from now, that a brand new body was gonna go through this again?
And would you purchase a company when another company could come in and say, hey, we're gonna do your trash for $4 a month, just for stock? Would you
Well,
do
that's,
that?
well, that part is the free market
Yeah.
there.
Well, where's Ameren at? Jesus Christ.
So
I wish we
the
could.
free market, and I don't, you can't make any demands, but there's gonna need to be something in place so that the company investing in me doesn't fear that 6 months from now.
I agree.
The sentiment that existed during all the town meetings was, don't put anybody out of business.
Yet this council still did it. This
No,
council still.
no,
went
we
through
didn't put anybody out of
the
business
process.
because we was understanding that he was going out of business. If you'd have put in the bid, I would not have voted for citywide trash. I don't know how many times I can say it because I was not gonna put anybody out of
This
business.
is the fourth time in the past 20 years the city has tried to approach the trash pickup. After 4 failures, I would say let's move on and forget it.
to answer your question, I hope they've learned the lesson for the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks. They collectively, the city council, I don't mean any individually, lesson is when government gets too much in private business, bad things can happen. And so again, I don't know that there can be a guarantee that next year, or 5 years down the road, somebody tries this again, because he said it's been tried 3 or 4 times. But if they've been paying attention and the ones who get elected were paying attention, the last thing they would, I would think, humbly think, that they want to do is come back and talk about trash. I mean, I think that's clear. So anyway, but I agree with it. The last thing, say thank you. I appreciate you staying. Like I said, I've done business with you from the day you opened, so. So anyway, I didn't want you to leave.
You have a zero
And
balance.
you, and you are an unfortunate victim of everything that's happened over the past 2 months.
And I don't wanna make a threat, but I'm also not gonna go bankrupt without taking the necessary steps if we can't reach your status quo. I mean, I just can't, I can't start over at 54 without some sort of fight,
So,
be it in the courts or otherwise.
So, if we don't have, if they don't get those extra 75 customers, your deal's off?
Townie,
No, they're just, as investors, they have concern that everything we took from the town meeting,
Yeah.
where mom and pops weren't gonna go out, I took a huge leap of faith.
Yeah.
They could have had the vote and they could have voted Republican. Republic has lots of contracts. They have an appealing thing that they offer. They have a huge advantage of being a multi-million-dollar, my parents drive to Michigan every year and they go, gosh, we even see Republicans in Michigan. Yeah, they're a pretty big company. Everybody said, not everybody, the people that spoke said, we don't want to do this, it's going to put a mom and pop out of business. So I was willing to roll the dice, thinking that I wasn't going to get the bid anyway, because I was going to be higher than Sharp. So I just stood back and hoped, and it happened that they got it. So I forget what I'm answering the question now, you guys got it.
So without the contract, they're still gonna absorb you, right? Only they want to guarantee they're gonna get paid. I want to guarantee that I'm
No, they
gonna get
don't
a return
want-
on my stock investments too, but it doesn't happen. It's a risk reward. If they're willing to take the risk to get the reward of having all but 75 customers, then they need to jump on it. If it's too risky for them, then they don't need to do it. The citizens of Kennett should not be guaranteeing this deal, which is what you guys are asking us to do. To guarantee that you get a contract, so you got guaranteed income before you make an investment. I can't go out and buy a piece of real estate guaranteeing it's gonna go up.
no, but you can run power to every house in town.
That's
You
not the
should get
important thing
something
right
for your
here.
No,
customers.
no, it's a valid point.
No,
because
we
that's
need to
what he
think
does.
about the citizens of Kennett,
We are.
not the deal.
We are,
I would, hey, I think if they buy him out, that's great.
yeah.
But we need to worry, all of you up there, don't think about the deal. You need to think about what trash service, if any, we're gonna have specifically for Kennett.
Yeah.
Or if we're gonna let the free market, which I think is a great idea, because that's what we know keeps prices down. We need to decide that. We don't need to linger on this deal. That's not important for the citizens of Kennett.
I agree.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But, you know,
So that this committee could make a recommendation to the council to keep it as is, free enterprise, take its place, and go from there. That would pretty much take care of everything, your needs, because we're not putting you
I
out of
understand,
it.
Jamie's right, my needs as related to the community, don't care, I know y'all don't care about my sob story, and I was sharing with you where I was coming from, but, yes.
All right, so then the free enterprise will take place. If they've got the best rate, and that's who they want to use, people have that choice. If Sharp has the best rate, they do the best service, that's who they pick. That is my recommendation to the council, Mr. Chairman. It's, whatever
so
you-
let's get back to the point where you put out the request for the bid, and we put in bid, and we won the bid. Let's go back to that.
Let's go back to the part where the mayor didn't read your bid.
Let's go back to it. That ain't up to me.
Has it been addressed if the bid is legal? Has that been verified that the process was legal?
It hasn't been verified that the bid, the actual bid proposal was legal. I don't know.
The bid was,
I don't know
the
what- I
bid
don't
was
even know.
put out before the ordinance was put in place.
Hey,
Is that correct?
I believe so.
And is that the correct process?
I don't think that's, makes it illegal. Depends on when it's enacted, depends on when it goes into force.
So the bid was put into the newspaper and then bids were put in front of the council and 25 days later enacted, or the ordinance was enacted.
I don't
To
know. I
Mr.
don't-
Swain's
I
point
don't know- I
earlier,
don't know if that's, I don't know if that's timeline's correct.
so to Mr. Swain's point earlier, he said he wouldn't have even voted to enact the ordinance had he known that Mr. Wheeler, is that his last name? A Friendly was even going to not bid. So typically, you would have the ordinance in place,
I realize that.
and then you would know later on who is going to bid.
I don't think it's necessarily makes it illegal. The ordinance is not in place.
Terry, you asked that night, what, if we go with the higher bid, you said you needed, that the council needed to justify why.
Yes.
And the answer you got was, we get more.
I answered that question.
Tell me
I
more.
didn't say that.
Jake
did.
McEwen said
I
more.
said it because I was worried about the rate increase.
Just
And
in
it
case.
was not correct, right?
And to keep local jobs. I'd rather keep